My student always drew himself with black scribbles covering his face. I thought it was just his artistic style until I visited his home. For a parent conference, I asked my kindergartners to draw their families for our classroom display. While the other children created colorful portraits, 6-year-old Elijah always obscured his own face with heavy black markings. When I finally saw his father's face, I understood exactly why. Draw your favorite person in your family, I instructed my kindergarten class on a bright Monday morning. 25 children eagerly grabbed markers except for Elijah, who hesitated before slowly selecting a black crayon. As an elementary art teacher, for 12 years I'd seen every imaginable style from stick figures to surprisingly sophisticated portraits. But Elijah's drawings always stood out for one consistent detail. Whenever he drew himself, he covered his face with heavy black scribbles while drawing everyone else normally. "That's a wonderful drawing of your sister," I said, kneeling beside his desk. "But why did you color over your face?" "That's how I look," he replied, matter-of-factly pressing the black crayon harder into the paper. I'd asked similar questions throughout the semester, always receiving the same response. His previous teachers had noted his unique artistic expression in his file but hadn't seen cause for concern. His academic performance was average, and he reacted normally with classmates. Still, something about those black marks troubled me. During parent-teacher conferences that Friday, Elijah's father arrived 30 minutes late. The moment he walked in, my stomach tightened half. His face bore a distinctive birthmark, dark purple coloration covering his right cheek, eye, and forehead, exactly where Elijah always blacked out his own face in drawings. Mr. Reynolds noticed my expression and smiled sadly. "You are making the connection, aren't you?" As we talked, he explained that Elijah had been born with the same facial birthmark, though much lighter than his father's. Children had started noticing and commenting, and Elijah had recently asked when his face would get dark like Guides. "We've tried explaining that his birthmark might stay light, or might darken over time," Mr. Reynolds said, "but he's convinced he's incomplete somehow. That he doesn't match me yet?" "And the black scribbles?" I asked gently, his way of fixing his drawings to show what he thinks is inevitable. He sighed. "We've been to counseling, but at this age it's hard for him to separate appearance from identity. That weekend I completely resigned my next art lesson. On Monday, I spread dozens of famous portraits across the classroom. Frida Kahlo's self-portraits embracing her distinctive features, Vincent van Gogh with his rent beard, Pablo Picasso cubist self-representations, and portraits of people with all kinds of distinctive appearances. Artists don't just show us what people look like," I explained. "They show us who people are, what makes each person special and unique." For our activity, I had each student create 2 self-portraits, one showing their outside appearance and another showing their inside self with colors and symbols representing things they loved and what made them special. Elijah's external portrait still had the black marks, but they were lighter, more intentionally placed. His internal portrait exploded with yellow stars because I am good at spelling, green dinosaurs because I know all their names, and blue waves because swimming makes me brave. Sometimes they were there, sometimes not. At the year-end art show, Elijah proudly displayed a family portrait where everyone, including himself, had completely visible faces. His father stood beside it, his own distinctive birthmark uncovered, despite the stares it sometimes attracted. "He told me last night that he might get a purple face someday or he might not," Mr. Reynolds whispered. But either way, he decided he's still Elijah. Sometimes children tell us exactly what they're feeling, just not in the way we're listening for, and sometimes the darkest marks on a page aren't signs of erasure, but attempts to find belonging in a world that doesn't always make that easy.